r/90DayFiance. Kinchito says. Made a Mother's Day card for all my 90-day fam. Enjoy my purties. Included photo. Natalie's Ramen Head says. Well done, but just missed the R. Angie Foxy says. I love it. Rough 3 years says. This is one of the scenes in all of the 90-day shows that got me to cringe. Resource Pin says. Now that's art awesome. r/90DayFiance. Boxhole says. Jen and Rishi, spoiler. I don't know if this is real at all or not. But let's play along that it is. The nerve of this piece of trash and her disgusting friends to go into his family's home and announce this information. I can't stand their self-righteous stupid faces. I hope so much this backfires in her face. And his reaction for them ruining everything. Give her a big hug. PoshDog4444 says. It definitely backfired. It wasn't her place and her frenemies to go into his parents' home and act like that. It's not it in our culture, or especially their culture. I rolled through her ass out so fast I think he got off easy. Different_pension 424 says. I lost respect for Jen when she conspired with her friends to tell Rishi's family. Jen could stay or leave him. She could tell her friends about how she feels. It's only my opinion, but that's how I feel. She's a grown woman in conflict. I understand, and that's a tough place to be. When in doubt, don't. Greenbean0721 says. A couple of things. I'm pretty sure Rishi knew this was the exact reaction that he would get from his mother and uncle, and that's why he put off telling them for so long. She is not an Indian girl. She's 48 years old. She doesn't want to live in a family home. She will never be able to have a child with Rishi. There are a lot of issues for Rishi's family to overlook. I'm not an expert on Indian culture by any means, but I've seen Indian families on other shows consult astrologers and give weight to what was said. The Three Stooges' total disregard for the customs and the culture is just an ugly look. I guess because they don't understand, it must not be important. And don't get me started on how totally inappropriate it was for Andy to be the one to tell his family about their engagement. r/90DayFiance. Sweat_and_sunscreen says. Origins of the Flairs. Is there a list of where each of the Flairs from this sub come from? Specifically, social media, evidence, frauded, make career, it is illusion, holiday exchange. I know that almost there, lazy, comes from Amazon, but I want to know the rest, because I think they're hilarious, and they sound familiar. Snakes15 says. Social media, Daniel Bali evidence, Daniel Bali frauded, Daniel Bali make career, Paola Mayfield it is illusion, Jess Meester holiday exchange, Subreddit gift exchange. Paris Hilton is dope says. Danielle the meme maker. OK_major 5787 says. It is illusion is from Jess in his second season with Darcy. I forgot what he was talking about. Maybe that she expected him to become an immediate father to her girls? I vaguely remember him talking about how that was unrealistic. Momibut9000 says. Wish I could add cut it on the bias to the Flair list. r/90DayFiance. Best Bud Sorry Ass and Milk says. What's next? I cannot believe we're at episode 13 of Other Way and we're not at a tell-all yet. Who am I kidding? Of course I'm not surprised. Anyone have any idea what's after Other Way? I'm thinking of 90 days sometime in mid-late May, but I haven't seen anything yet. Granted, I read this sub fairly regularly, but I still could have missed a post addressing this. Tall Redhead 1014 says. Single life maybe? KT 741 says. Maybe Og 90 day or B90? I also haven't seen anything yet. OMG Shelly says. There's a new show called Match Me Abroad that starts May 14th. I haven't heard any rumblings of Og 90 Day coming back. They're also in the middle of Love in Paradise. Revolutionary_8 says. I read somewhere there's a rumor they were recording a show on 90-day couples whose relationships/marriages are on the rocks, not on just fighting term, but really on the divorce kinda stage. I forgot what the title would be, but maybe it will come to the surface. r/90DayFiance. English Rose 71 says. A question regarding Indian culture. A genuinely curious question about Indian culture. If a daughter goes to live with her new husband's family when she marries and helps to take care of them, what happens to an Indian family if they have all daughters? Do those daughters leave to go to their new marital homes? And, if so, who takes care of the parents as they become elderly if all their daughters have left and they have no sons? Life Kaleidoscope 568 says. What happens to the joint family household when the parents have 4 daughters? The multi-generational household in India and 1'LL say most of the world that one may move to has her their husbands and children. It's about all of them getting the help they need, not limited to the elders. The other daughter's husbands and children can live with her parents. Again. Lots of work in the house. Cooking, cleaning, laundry, going to school, jobs on the outside, etc. Everyone has responsibilities, ways to help other become healthy and strong. Central is the idea that all are mutually dependent and need each other. The go it alone philosophy isn't popular. Queen Curls says. From what I know, it depends family to family. If they marry into a family that had 2 boys, they may go live with the girl's family, since his family has a boy to look after the parents. But times are slowly changing, faster in the bigger cities. And because of their poor views on girls, it is actually illegal to find out the sex of an unborn baby. Beba Sherry says. I've been watching Indian Matchmaker on Netflix. There's a girl living in India. The show also follows Indian people in UK and USA, who appears to be an only child. She's super stressed out about who's gonna take care of her parents if she marries and moves out. She's trying to find a husband who would allow her to stay close to her family, but knows that's unlikely. I haven't finished this season, so I'm not sure how it turned out for her. MS4721 says. This is sadly why a lot of old school Asian families preferred having boys. If you're lucky, you have at least one boy who will be your retirement plan. Culture is slowly changing though, so it's not all bad to have only daughters. Carice Gull says. Maybe the lucky girls get to do both, lol. r/90DayFiance. Slavichadrid says. I thought Yohan would be such a user. And while I do think he wants to go to the United States, he seems to actually be really honoring the fact that he's married to Daniel. It's funny, because in the beginning of the season, I thought he would just be desperate to go to the United States, and that she would end up getting scammed, and would be the victim in all of this. Turns out he's just a nice guy who probably does want to live here, but also likes his wife, and she's kind of just a big manipulative weirdo. First impressions ain't mean shit. Sumayang Nam says. Yeah, he looked jealous when asking about her ex, lol. He wouldn't care if he was just in it for the green card. He asked about his foot size and penis LMAO. Onion Serious 3084 says. He is not really a nice guy, he is kind of mean. I get the impression he doesn't really like her all that much, and he tries to control her and embarrass her, just like she said in this last episode. Interesting Many 509 says. 2 of them deserve each other. Posh Dog 4444 says. With all of her nonsense, he didn't even get his green card yet. Major Flower 7788 says. I always say the Americans are the users. They ignore 50 states of potentials in America to go to third world countries and find someone vulnerable there. There's middle class to wealthy people in the doctor, but Danielle can't belittle and control them, can she? Distance Rare 5675 says, I think he's an honest man that wants to go to America to make an actual living. Life in the Dominican Republic is hard. Danielle romanticizes everything, and it's annoying as hell. It's completely understandable why he would want to come to America to make a living for them. r/90DayFiance. Quick_temperature 204 says, I hate Randy. Bombastic side-eye to Randy. I haven't disliked a friend on this show more than Randy in a minute. The way she went into their home and is acting sort of like Jen's guardian is disgusting to me. And very disrespectful to Rishi and his family. This woman is a stranger to them, never met them once. And she wants to drop that bomb so desperately, it's so desperate. She wants Jen to be single like her. Also Jen, she couldn't have said that herself. She's a grown woman. I call around. Tricky says, they all remind me of teenage girls. I can hardly believe they're adults the way they act. I half expected them to start giggling when the translator told his mom they took a vacation to see their friend in India for some reason and are gonna get entertainment one way or another. I also suspect alcohol plays a factor due to my being a former dumb drunk girl who made poor choices. I grew up, however, but I think Jen may be emotionally 14 forever. I also felt so terrible for his mom. She didn't ask for her son to be involved with her pushing 50-year-old ass. Also, those lips. Yikes. Burning and Churning says, who would even want a friend like her? Skip 2020 altogether says, terrible human being. No good vibes about her at all whatsoever. Yippee says, WTF was up with that hair of hers anyway? Looked very 90s bridesmaid / prom or something. Bizatch leave mother Rishi alone FFS. And Jen with that grinug. You know she's fixing to get more licks in at the tell-all, we'll hopefully never have to see her again. For Castleton says, it was so disrespectful. The whole thing made me really dislike her. She looked so pleased with the whole thing. Also understanding that Rishi takes care of his family and still wanting to move him away didn't help. This whole segment really annoyed me. Poshdog4444 says, how could anybody in the right mind like that obnoxious bizatch? She doesn't know to stay in her lane, the nerve on her. Beneficial Frame 6 says, I felt terrible for the mom. None of this is her fault. That was nasty. Sursum says, I blame Jen more. Randy was acting on Jen's behalf with her approval. Those are things Jen wanted said, but was afraid she'd chicken out. Then she thanked Randy afterwards. It's now time for an unpaid shoutout. Check out Entropic Decay Gaming on YouTube for retro long plays and GoldenEye 64 custom maps. Lance Cassidy's love for classic gaming will transport you back to a time when games were simpler, but no less exciting. Subscribe now using the link in the description.